How does it go with the rule book, like enforcing? Because obviously it's a bit of a tricky one. Like the rule book, I guess, would get rules added to it every year or get stricter and stricter in a sense.
In a sense. So it doesn't change a lot.
Okay, yeah.
It's usually just little tweaks. It's pretty solid.
Yeah. And then you're having to enforce them probably more so each year with the insurance thought in mind. Like you can't have anything.
Insurance is more of a venue issue.
Yeah.
So it's rather than a race issue. Mm-hmm. So it's about how you present your track, how you present all the facilities and anything that's a danger. So that's probably more where the insurance comes from. So anything that is outside of the racing. Once it's inside the racing, it's about the racing.
Yeah.
Now the rule book's coming into play because they're the rules of racing.
Yeah.
They're the rules of sport. Every sport has rules. Mm-hmm. So they're the rules of the sport. They don't change that much. And they're more tweaked for things that might be changed. So one of the things that's the significant change is the introduction of e-bikes. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a whole section of rules have to be written just on that.
Gotcha.
You know, so, you know, and you're going to see a lot more go on in that space now. Yeah. But the actual basic rules don't change a lot. One of the best rules that came in, and I was a part of that through the Motocross Commission at the time, was harmonizing the flagging rules between the FIM mm-hmm. and Australia, because we've got things that go on in Australia that were different over in America, and people go, oh, over there it's this, and over there it's that. Well, we're affiliated with the FIM. We do what they do. Yeah. And then introducing that to the rule book and making it a national protocol, and the penalties for infringements in writing has been the best thing for the official, because basically it gives the official nowhere to go. Flag rules are there for the safety of people. And, you know, once you go to a waved flag, whether it be yellow or medical, the consequences of not obeying it are significant.
Yeah.
So, you know, one day it's going to be tested where people don't obey them and they hit someone and kill somebody. It'll be interesting to see how the insurance gets tested then, because that rider has now been negligent.
Yeah.
So whether there'll be something in that space that develops, but at this stage, it's a no-fault policy. So
yeah.
Our job is to pick them up. You know, we can't get them all. We're like coppers. You know, sometimes you're speeding and you get away with it, and other places you don't. And when you don't, you suck it up because you got away with it in other times before. So
I guess where I was heading with that is that, like new rules and regs are added all the time, most of the time. They're never ever really taken away too much. Do you think it ever gets to a point where there's maybe it's a little bit too strict and stringent and you have to enforce things that you don't want? Or is it, you think it's pretty good and fair across the board?
I would say at times it becomes too strict and stringent, and it's usually because someone's doing the wrong thing. Mm-hmm. So every rule in life is written for someone that's been doing the wrong thing, the baddest person. So where we've just seen one issued just in the last week, where it was clarification that the swing arm of a motorcycle on a 50 or on a motorcycle is a part of the frame.
Right.
I would have thought, realistically, a swing arm is pretty much a part of the frame.
So what's the subframe? They modified it? Or?
So people are modifying the swing arms and saying it's not a part of the frame.
Gotcha.
So they're lengthening them.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So now they come out and said, and includes a swing arm. Why did we have to even put that in? It just seems common sense that you shouldn't have to do it.
Yeah.
But someone's obviously doing it.
Well, yeah, it's almost the writer's job in a way to try and find those little holes.
Or dads.
If they can. Dads.
When it comes to 50s, it's always the dads and the bike builders.
Do you have serial offenders that... Because it is I can't think of an example, but every now and again you will find there might be a little bit of a loophole somewhere in the rule book. Someone will exploit it. They'll do really well out of it. And then I know in the AMA, you couldn't change the frame, so they started hollowing the insides of them where you couldn't see that and things like this. Mm-hmm. Does that happen at all in Australia? Or?
Yeah, titanium bits.
Yeah.
When they're not allowed to have them, titanium axles.
Gotcha.
Things like that. There's plenty of it goes on.
Do you think those things are necessary though? Or?
Well, the scientists say so, because basically titanium is more brittle component than forged steels and things like that, and it has a tendency to break. You know, so if you have an axle,
yeah,
you know, and like you're running titanium bits in it, and it's shattering, it could have some pretty serious consequences.
Yeah, I got you.
So and then it becomes also money. So it's about keeping the sport as affordable as it is. It's like, it's an expensive sport. But it is also one of the cheapest motorsports there is.
I think it is the cheapest, yeah.
Absolutely. Like try go-kart racing.
Yeah, well, that would be the next closest. Right. I know it's not cheaper.
I mean, it's way more expensive.
Yeah.
You know, and try going out road racing.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a $3,000 day. And that's if you don't crash.
I think a license to go ski racing is like $3,000 for the year.
Ski races?
Yeah, and you do like 3 races a year. Don't quote me, it's between $1,000 and $3,000. It's a lot.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, it is a cheap sport, and everyone whinges about the fact their license goes up by $5. And I just and have you looked at the bling on your bike? And so on. So, but I like the bling on the bikes, by the way. It's pretty cool.
Do you ever find yourself between a rock and a hard place enforcing some rules or making some decisions?
I don't think a rock and a hard place. It's probably the hardest thing, and we're actually been doing some work in this space. It's actually about how to penalise.
Yeah,
it's probably the thing. Because the only place in the rule book that actually tells you about what to penalise is wave yellow flags, wave medical flags, sound testing,
right,
fuel testing. That's it.
Gotcha.
I can't think of anything else that's truly there that's significant to the racing itself. Yep. Everything else is a bit open to the clerk of the day, because you can't write a rule and a penalty for every single thing that happens, because there's still, I've been doing this 25 years.
Yeah.
And they're still coming up with new and exciting ways to get away with things.
I guess that's where I was going with it. It's is personal discretion ever at sort of...
It's always there.
Yeah.
So so what we've formulated at national level is we now have a 2-sided A4 sheet of what we call standard minimum penalties.
Gotcha.
So if you do this, this is what you're going to get.
Yep.
So we're consistent that when you do that you got it, and he got it, and she got it, and everyone got exactly the same penalty at this level.
Yep.